Hey, it's Allie Edwards, and I am starting the process of compiling my traveler's notebook for days 5 through 9 in my December daily album for 2018. You can see here, just a quick look kind of at what I have done so far. While I was traveling, I made a point to just jot down real-time notes kind of what was happening, and it's not every single detail of every single day. You can see I have a couple little tickets here and there, my boarding pass, things that I'm just thinking about or considering that I may want to add into this. The amount of journaling that I did for most days is filling in at least maybe 1 to 1.5 pages. This is from Shake Shack, a piece of paper that I have in there that I'm going to try to figure out how to make that a page in and of itself. I have a note to myself here, make a graphic image about Hamilton feelings and being in Times Square. This is a bag from FAO Schwartz, the toy store that where we bought candy from. So I'm also thinking about including this in here in one way or another. Day 7, writing. I'm going to be putting a photo on this page. Writing goes into the second page. I'll probably be putting another photo here. Day 8 has lots of writing there, and the other side of that bag. And then day 9, I think this is, let's see, yes, this is right at the end of the trip. So this is the day that we actually flew home. So I started my journaling, and I'll probably add a little bit more to that. I have a few extra pages in the back. I'm planning on doing a reflections or I want to remember, where I'm actually typing up things that I want to remember versus the things that I was writing down here, which is more of a play-by-play kind of the different things that we did. I also have this page that I had stamped in there originally, so I'm planning to cut some of the little things that I brought home, and I wanted to show you guys that in this first part here as well. So I took this bag, I just got this this is from like the Target, $1 or $3 spot there, and it was a great bag to hold this bag that had what I took with me on the trip, which was some adhesive, a stamp set, and some washi tape. I actually didn't end up using any of that because what I ended up doing was just writing notes down in the traveler's notebook itself. But this has all of the kind of paper ephemera that I collected on the trip, and I absolutely will not be using even close, to all of this. But this gives me an opportunity to pick out what I do want to add in. So we've got the Hamilton playbill. This is a receipt from something, 9/11 museum brochure, the Wicked playbill. This is a bag from the Statue of Liberty. It actually has a book in it. It's one of Simon's books, and you can get that to him. But I thought this would also, could make a cool page in there. So I'm going to see how I can incorporate that has something that you pull out. This is from the Color Factory, place that we visited, and a little bit of drawing, which was super fun. Also from the Color Factory, actually I have lots of little things from there. This, I believe, are some tickets for that. Statue of Liberty tickets, Color Factory, and some more Color Factory stuff here. They just had lots of fun things to pick up. So not a ton, but enough that I'm going to be able to incorporate some of these things into the album itself. These were tickets from the New York Historical Society. So I'm going to play around with these. I think that like the cover of this right here, which is from the Color Factory, would be super fun to turn into a page, which is part of the reason why I left this open, right? Nothing is secured in here, so that I would be able to take something like this, fold it up, cut it up, fold it up, and then put it into the album itself and actually make a page out of something like that. So this is what I'm dealing with. At least this kind of gives you an idea of my starting place. I'm looking at this stuff. What I'm doing right now is starting to print out my photos. I printed out an itinerary before I left and added that in there. And then I printed one photo here that was just a test print to see what this is gonna look like. And I printed a little bit too small, so I'm gonna reprint it again. But this will give you kind of an idea how I'm going to approach this, and I want to add in vertical full page photos like this. I will absolutely not be adding in every photo that we took on this trip. I'm going to pick out some of the ones that highlight what I want to have highlighted in here, and probably add a few additional ones here in the back. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm going to be diving into print out some more photos next. Okay, I am making progress in this traveler's notebook, and I'm kind of super excited to show you guys where I'm at right now. What I have done is I've printed almost all of the pictures now, and you're gonna see here in a second, it's getting very thick and fat, which is great. I printed almost all the pictures. I haven't adhered anything down, so I'm gonna, I'll video record myself printing them down, and I'll speed it up, and we'll do a voiceover and kind of talk through that. But I just wanted to flip through once before I do that next piece. So I have printed my pictures. They are 4 by 8.25, which means that I'm gonna have this green washi tape. You're gonna be able to still see that. So it's not going into the actual spine itself. That was just a choice that I made. So these are all gonna get adhered down. Pictures here, I've got one picture over here where my journaling stopped, picture of Simon. I'm not sure yet if I'm gonna keep this in there or not. I might just take it out. I didn't end up adding in a ton of the ephemera. You'll see that in a little bit, just a few things. I like keeping the focus on the words and photos. Here's the 6th then with this piece. I might add some little embellishment on here, or I may not. Excuse me, there's the photo that goes with that. Then I've got 2 photos here back to back. I was also thinking I might add on some label stickers or something like this to kind of designate or add a little bit of something. I'm looking at my product over here and kind of deciding, you know, I'm not to that point yet, because for me, when I'm doing this kind of a thing, I want to focus on the words and photos first, and then if I'm going to add any embellishment at all, that would be like the last thing that I would do for this kind of a project. So a couple photos there. Then come into here, you can see there's the paper from the Color Factory. This is going to get adhered onto this side. I added in a piece of vellum that I cut to the size of these pages, and I have some photos from the Color Factory that I'm going to add on here, and then other ones that will go on the back. I have 3 more circle punched pictures that I think will be fun. That is from the ball pit at the Color Factory there, me and Simon. And then coming over here, I've got the photo of Elliot eating lobster. I think I'll probably print another picture and put it on right here. There's the other piece of the vellum, so it's likely that I will add something onto that piece. I might cut this part out or cut this out or something to add on there. And then here's one of the pictures that I took there, and this is just gonna get adhered onto the paper behind there. This is going on the back of this one. So you can see that these are all just going to get adhered in there, and it'll turn a lot different once these aren't loose. Wrapping up my journaling from that day, photo walking towards the New World Trade Center. I'm going to handwrite a little bit more journaling on this one. This was the day that we flew home. Here is the back of that piece from the Shake Shack, and I'll probably put something else on here. Not sure yet. Again, I haven't got to that total point yet, wanting to kind of get in the bones is what I would consider this. Photo of me working on the project. Then I am going to print a couple more pictures. The other thing that I did is, in addition to the in-person writing, or the writing, the kind of the real-time writing, I wrote up what I want to remember about this trip and have, I don't know, 8 bullet points there. So I'm going to adhere this inside there. I like to have something like this that's less about the facts of the trip and more about the feelings of the trip, more about, you know, why did I love it and why was it great. 2 more pictures are going to go right here. I'm waiting for some more photo paper to get delivered. And then I'm probably going to wrap it up with this picture of me and Katie on the back. And then this is where I took, I had already stamped this in using a rectangle stamp, and so I took a bunch of the pieces of ephemera and things that I picked up and just cut out little rectangles of things to add on there. So I really like how that turned out. Actually, this one might go on the back. I'm not sure. I'll finish I'll figure out a way to conclude the album. I think I might put this one in right here, but that'll allow me space for a few more pictures. So what I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to start the process of just adhering things down in there, and then we will I'll see where we go from there. I do, like I said, need to print out a few more pictures, and I should be able to do that tomorrow as well. All right, so the rest of this video is going to be just showing you kind of a sped up version of my process of adhering everything down. You know, and that it's another part of the process, right? And I think it's one of those things when we embark on a project like this, we never know exactly how long it's going to take, but a lot of it is just doing the work. And that's what you are seeing me doing here is simply, I have everything set up, right? I know where everything is going to go, and I am taking the time to get those bigger pieces in. I think I said this earlier, but a lot of times when I'm doing something like this, and if you take my travel product play workshop, I talk about this as well, I like to deal with the words and photos first. That is generally the things that I like to focus on, and then I'll go back in, and you'll see this here in the video when I add stickers or other things. In this case, because I'm actually creating a book itself, and I have other pages that are in here as, or you know, other things that are in here as pages, I wanted to get all of those things set up first too. So this is kind of how I work versus doing it one page at a time, adhering things down, and then turning to the next page. I want to have kind of a better idea of what's happening. This is one of my favorite ones right here, this spread that has the vellum there, and then I used some of the punched out circle photos from a 3-inch circle punch to add on there. I really liked having the vellum as a page in there, and I considered adding a few more pages of the vellum too. But I ended up just leaving that one. But definitely for in the future, if I do another one of these, I will for sure consider adding in a vellum page. If you are a Story Kit subscriber, this last month here for December, we had some 3-inch transparent circles that talk about joy, and I just used one of those right there. The rest of these, as you can see, are mostly all 4x8 or whatever the size is of this page vertical pictures. Now I took all, these are all iPhone pictures. I only used my iPhone on this trip, and over the course of the last, I don't know, year or so, probably last year, I've kind of moved to taking almost all vertical pictures, whereas previously I took almost all horizontal pictures. And I think it has to do with using stories from Instagram on the phone. And so a lot of my pictures are vertical. And for this trip, almost all of them were. So that made it really easy to have these really strong vertical oriented photos in a book that's set up to be vertically oriented. So that worked out well for me. I ended up adding in one photo that was horizontal. That's a picture of Simon and Elliot and Gabrielle, my niece, that actually goes on this page right here. I don't think at this point in time when I was doing it, I had printed it yet, but that's my I want to remember journaling, which I love having that added in because the rest of my journaling, the journaling that I actually did on the trip, is significantly more fact-based. It's like we went here and then we went here and then we had this for lunch. And then, you know, I might have added in a few things like I love this part and blah, blah, blah. But the I want to remember journaling actually allowed me to connect more with my heart. So to connect more with my heart about the trip, what were the pieces that I loved, that sort of thing. So as I just got done there adding in most of the pictures that I had printed up until this point on that day. I was waiting for some extra photo paper. But I took the bag that was from the Statue of Liberty and decided to cut it out and adhere it onto this cutout of the Statue of Liberty onto the vellum. And have that be, this is the other side of the vellum, right? That first side had the Color Factory pictures on it, those punched out 3-inch circles, or what's on the other side of this folded piece of vellum that got fit into the album itself. And so I thought this was a fun way to use something that I got on the trip. So it's a bag, right, from, you know, buying a book or whatever it was that we bought. I think it was a book, or Simon picked out a couple books. And being able to use this in this way where where I can cut it up. I'm just using my small scissors there to make a really graphic piece that fits right on there. I seriously love how this turned out. Like, I think that this is like the coolest thing. And then I just put adhesive on the back there and laid it down, and I think I ended up trimming a little bit of it off. It's very thin paper, so I definitely felt like I needed to be careful as I was putting that rolling adhesive on there. But I seriously, like, I was really happy with how that one turned out. And then the other thing that ended up being fun, you'll see later on, is I added another circle photo there. So this was kind of the end of this particular day of working on the project. And then the next time I came back to it, I had additional photos printed. I actually went to the store, got some more paper before it came from Amazon. So there's that horizontal picture of the 3 kids at dinner one night, and that worked, I think, just fine to put that in horizontally. I was also able to print off a few more pictures to add into the end. Those ones I just picked out a couple more pictures that I really liked. I know that somebody will want to know, am I using all of the pictures that I took? I'm not using all the pictures that I took, but I'm also totally okay with that. Like, it's this fully satisfies what I want documented from this trip. And I may make a photo book for the boys. I think they would probably like that. But I don't have any other scrapbooking plans for this trip. I think that this is a good enough representation of the trip. There you can see where I punched out another circle photo. I also printed a couple more. This is another of the long vertical photos. That's on the other side of the Shake Shack piece of paper that I had from when we ate there. So one of those has a photo on the back. And then I went ahead and added the photo of almost all of us. It didn't have my mom in it because she took that picture into the back. So the next step for me, after I have all of the photos in and all of the words, is going in and adding some embellishments. And in a project like this, I am not going to be a big embellisher. I don't think I'm a big embellisher in general, but in a project like this, I think it probably could have been just fine even without adding any additional embellishments. But as a big fan of word phrase stickers, it was fun to add some of those in. You'll see that I am cutting some of them to make them thinner. I used some from the December Daily kit, or the December Daily, sticker bundle. I also used some other word phrase stickers that I have from past story kits, or I think one of them is even like a week in the life one. Word phrase stickers tend to be one of my favorite embellishments. They're flat, they're easy to add onto a photo, and they add just a little bit of something on there. Then next up I was trying to, look in my December Daily kit and kind of see which things would I like to add in there. I had these 2 large plastic circles. I believe they are also close to that 3-inch size. And so I temporarily adhered one on one side and then one on the other side there, and then used my tiny attacher. Actually, I think I started to use my tiny attacher, and then I grabbed my long reach stapler instead to be able to get all the way in there. That long reach stapler is nice to have. It's definitely like the traditional big sized staples versus the tiny attacher, which is more of my favorite for stapling, but it definitely works if you're wanting to staple something farther into a project. And then basically I just kind of repeated these steps of adding the word phrase stickers. A couple places I did add a label sticker, like on this one I wanted to designate that we were at St. Patrick's Cathedral when I wrote that, or when I included this picture in there. So I just cut it off so it's interacting with the edge there, and then hand wrote on there. Some of them I just added one sticker to, one word phrase sticker, and other ones I added multiples. When I added multiples, I usually like to do a couple different colors. So I had the black, I had a white one, and then I had that green one that is from the December Daily sticker bundle there. Then as I was looking at that, the big chipboard piece there, which was from the Color Factory, it was like one of the little treats was on there. I grabbed these old one little word stickers that I had, those black ones with the white text, and went ahead and put that on top. This is probably my favorite spread. I just think it's so fun. That's Simon and I in this giant ball pit. If you have a chance to go to a Color Factory installation, they did it in San Francisco for a while. It's in New York just for a little bit longer, and then it will probably move to another city. It is super fun and totally worth it. We had a great great time. So adding a couple little word phrase stickers onto the picture of Elliot having lobster for the first time, which was super fun because he is an adventurous eater and is fun to take out to dinner. And then him and Simon in front of the Ghostbusters firehouse. Also a great place to visit. So simply going in and continuing to add those things in there. And one of the things that I think simplifies travel projects or projects like this where you're dealing with a lot of content is to simplify your embellishments, and it is to limit the number of supplies that you have access to so that you're not having to choose from everything that is available to you. I think that's often something that makes it really hard for people to actually get things done because there's too many choices. Yes, there are tons of fun products and there's tons of fun things that could be used on any one of your projects, but limiting the number that you have access to on any given project, I definitely think it can help you move forward and get things done. So continuing on with that same thing, I'm just basically, like I said, going through and picking out words or phrases that resonated with me related to the pictures. And so like this is traveling home and we had a super long layover. And so what did we do during that time? And then I added in a picture of me actually working on my journaling, which I did some of that at the airport. I loved having those in the moment reflections and in the moment kind of facts about the trip. I loved having those in the album, handwritten, basically having that done before we got home. And I think just focusing on that part of it also worked really well for me. So I knew on this trip that I wasn't going to be working on the project while we were on the trip because we didn't have enough time. Like it just was not that kind of a trip. It was one where we were really moving very regularly throughout the whole time. So setting a little bit of time aside, even when I was at the airport or one morning at breakfast, to just jot down those initial notes that become part of this bigger story, that worked really well for me in the end. And you can see there's that other page where I cut out a bunch of the rectangles. I think I talked about that earlier, but that was fun. And then for the last page, I just wanted to have something here that has that photo, the circle photo of all of us together, minus my mom again, and then having one more view, a really big sky view of New York City as well. And then lastly, what I wanted to do is just do a quick run through so you can see the final overview here of what the whole thing ended up looking like. It still fits in my album. It's definitely thick, but it fits in that envelope, and I love how it turned out. Like I just think it is such a fun representation of a really great adventure and a really fun opportunity for our family to get to go and do something like this together. So it was a great trip, and as always, I appreciate you guys giving me the time to get it all together, and then I'm happy to share it with you guys here today. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below.